Welcome everyone to Chronos Gate with VVV2S, myself here. What we're looking at today is we're going to look through a bit more through team building mechanics, what kind of team archetypes there are currently, and what kind of cards to expect from the current series. So I think it's still one of the topics which many people aren't sure about. I think gameplay and battle mechanics, everyone is fairly okay, but we can summon 10 in one go. But yeah, as mentioned, still struggling. I think for some people, still struggling to catch a balance on how to structure the team. So 10 Spellstone summons. What are we gonna get? Okay, we already have him. I don't know why. Oh, okay. A Hyuntai, which is new. Hyuntai Gi. Okay, got a Jubei, I think. Maybe. Oh, okay. We got Lena, which is new. Don't have it yet. Lena Patil. And a bunch of other stuff which we have again already. Okay, so let's do a summon again. Summon one Spellstone. So I'm just gonna summon more Spellstone summons while we wait for more people to join in. Please help share this video so that more people can see it and join in to watch. Alright, we got a Simba here. Simba's pretty solid as a wind card as well as a wind converter. And feedable as well. So later we're going to go through the series one by one, and we're going to look through some of the more notable cards from each series. I think one common thing that comes out is that the the converters are generally quite strong throughout whichever series because of the fact that they help your mono attribute so much. Alright, so we're going to finish off summoning all these. What are we going to get next? Hi, Oscar and Zachary. Not sure if the live chat is updating. Okay, there we go. I need to keep this window open. Then it will be updating properly. Okay, we got a Mona the Wolf. Fantastic. Spend all those resources feeding the other one. Guess I don't have to anymore. Okay, let's see what else we get next. Flash Thunder Element. All pretty useless to me right now because I'm so broke. I have 29,000 coins, which as you can see is not really a lot left. Okay, what have we got next? Another Rin! Okay. So for those of you who didn't pick Rin as your starter, you can still get it from the Spellstone summon. So later we'll go through the starter, the protagonist series as well, and we'll do a quick analysis of the different few that we have. Okay, another Earth, large wind element. Sorry, there is no Earth in Chronos Gate, only wind. Next up, we have got a... Okay, so as you can see, Spellstone Summon, you have a chance of getting the really good filler cards, but then you also have a chance of getting all these evolved materials and enhancement materials and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you can make sure you spread your draws, or I don't know, just go through them all at once. Okay, another Mona. We can make Team Mona in a while. Alright, now this will be the common. So that was the lesser. So you can see the lesser Spellstone summon to get a hero from the series below. Either the Succubis, Beastlords, starter heroes, or end materials. Okay, and these fragments are farmable. Alright, in the common Spellstone, you just have increased chance for starter heroes, and of course Nihility is not included. So you can't get duplicate Ophelia at the moment. Okay, 3 from the bottom. Let's see how the luck goes. Another large wind element. Okay, we got 3 more draws. Now, of course, 4 more draws, sorry. Your Spellstone summon, the common ones are going to be a lot more rarer. And hopefully the result that they produce is much better as well. Let's go for the middle one this time. And we get another Rin! Okay, Rin seems to love us. That's okay, because we love you too, Rin. You're so awesome. Okay. Let's go for the next one. Okay, another Simba. I think we started off with a Simba, so you guys have a fairly good idea of what to expect from these Spellstone summons. 4th from the bottom. Okay, it's a gold, so it should be a Megalodon. Megalodon the Shark. Okay, I already have one. Instantly, this is a really useful active skill. Deal attribute damage equal to 20 times hero attack to one enemy. Restore hit points by 20% of hit damage dealt. I'll probably be feeding him to my Hydra later to get his skill level going up. So, more Megalodons, please. Hi, Sunny. Thanks for joining in. Okay, and here is a large Nihility element. Okay, so we're done with all our Spellstone summons. As mentioned, if you guys haven't done so yet, please go to your supplies, as you can see here, and fuse these fragments together, which will give you these Spellstone summons. Now, these are really good alternatives to the traditional Timestone summons. If you look at my account information, I've actually got less than 20 Spellstone summons. So if you're looking for some inspiration, I guess, look no further, because with less than 20 Timestone summons, you can actually get your way through quite a large portion of the game without having to commit too many Timestones to those. And the rest of the time, you can actually use cards from Spellstone summons to fill out and round out your team. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through some very quick basic reviews of the current series that we have access to. So, funny story of what happens, I made a spreadsheet and it had all the information laid out nicely, but what ended up happening in the end is that yeah, I kind of lost it all, so that kind of sucks. I think I left it on another laptop or something, and now I have to re-access it, so not to worry, I'm gonna find it quickly. We're gonna go through it, and we'll make sure that we do a more comprehensive overview of the different series that we have compared to the one I did last time, which, to be honest, was pretty basic. And this time, not only are we going to look through the different series available, we are also going to look at how to use some of these in the teams. Okay. So let me start by sending this to somebody. Okay, wait, I need to... send this. Okay, I found the link, so here it is. Let me paste it for you guys. Okay, if you haven't done so yet, you can definitely visit the English Wikipedia page. But for those of you who haven't, you can always visit the Chronos Gate database that a guy named Arigato has compiled for us. Pretty massive effort I can see he's put in there. And if you guys are looking to contribute in some way to Chronos Gate, you can definitely drop by the Wikipedia page and become one of the contributors, because I think that is something that's really worth building up and developing. So currently, we know that the Chinese side has got their Wikipedia page up and running, pretty much fully functional already. And on our side, on the English side, we have a few people working on it, but of course they could always use some more help. So what I'll be doing is be going through the different series that you guys see here. If you use the spreadsheet and open it up, you can actually see that there's different ones. So we'll probably start by going off with the protagonists. Okay, so protagonists are the ones which you are guaranteed one when you start Chronos Gate, unless you manage to sell off your protagonist, your starter hero. Now for your starter heroes, they may all generally look the same in terms of the leader skill, because all their leader skills will give 2 times buff to their element, which is pretty awesome. The only thing that differs, well, in fact, the other thing that differs though, will be their eliminate skill as well as their active. So out of all your starters, I've got to say the real standout that goes off to here is definitely going to be Rin. Reason being, she has one of the most OP elimination skills at the moment, which is currently the 2 times refined runestones formed per match. Now, throughout this kind of brief review, we're going to talk about this elimination skill a lot, refinement multiplier, and how strong it really is. Because I currently think that, you know, in my opinion, to get a really rock solid team going, you want to have basically either your leader ally, which has this refinement multiplier, okay, unless you're going into different archetypes. So your protagonist, Rin will definitely be your standout character. The others will still be good enough because they have a leader skill of 2 times attack, and their elimination skills will vary. Throughout this review, you're just going to see that we'll talk about leader skills and elimination skills as well. That's when you're considering them for leaders or allies, and active skill is really just to be used as a team member, assuming you have choice, like you have more than one to choose between. Okay, so we have our Daimyos, which to me is the most underrated series currently available. Reason being is that their leader skill is really good. Okay, because not only do they provide a basic 2 times multiplier, they also give you a recovery of 1.5 times. So later on, if we have time, we'll probably try to tackle the new maze. And in there, you'll see that by allying yourself up with a daimyo, you'll be able to recover your way through many different scenarios. Okay, so that's assuming that both your leader and ally doesn't have a eliminate skill, which helps you recover hit points. So to me, Daimyos are the most underrated series. Now the other reason why is because the active skill is conversion skill, and it's got a minimum cooldown of 5. They'll turn a respective element attribute into their own attribute, which is a pretty powerful effect at CP 5. With CP 5, you'll need to have fed them a lot of those lantern things. So those lantern trash mobs that drop, I would recommend you just keep a copy, keep feeding them together so that you can get a skilled up one, and after that you'll be able to feed it to one of your daimyos should you be lucky enough to draw one of them. Okay. So next up we'll have your samurai warriors, who provide a basic leader skill of 2 times multiplier. Elimination skill not so fantastic, so for that reason I wouldn't rate them very highly as leaders. However, still good enough if you need something that gives you a leader skill. And of course we have I'm gonna try to do this. Okay, no worries. And of course we have the active skill. So let me read out. For your samurai heroes will be your Yagyu, Mori, Sasaki, Honda, and Miyamoto. Incidentally, do you know Honda eats spark plugs? Which I find hilarious because, yeah, the car and spark plugs and all that. But anyway, you guys will find out if you own a Honda yourself. So, yeah, actually for the Samurai series, I'd have to say these are one of your top-notch members. Reason being they have a minimum CP of 4, and they will randomly turn 3 attribute of runestones into their own attribute. And the reason why that's so strong is because currently in a lot of stages you can be rushing for an S rank, and to rush for an S rank you need to get minimum number of rounds clearance. These guys at max CP will help you a lot because they will just give you the runes that you need to attack. And you know, for me, I run a mono water team as well. I really wish I had a Yagyu sometimes, especially when you ally up with a Rahab. So Rahab really is very thirsty for water runes, and by having a Yagyu that gives you water runes on call, there's nothing much more stronger than that you can get. So these are, for me, Samurai series are rated one of the best members to be getting, assuming you can train up the SCP. Alright, next up we have Oriental Beauties, who have the skill of giving their attribute attack 1.5 as well as recovery times 1.5. Generally a pretty overall crappy series, apart from the fire one, which gets an honorable mention due to the fact that she still provides, some sort of multiplier. Whereas what you can see is that the others, like your Enchantress Xi, Seductress Daji, Concubine Yang, and Lure Diaotan, they have pretty terrible skills. So this will pretty much be your filler cards. Alright, next up we have your Shinto gods, who basically those are your Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, Izanagi, Susanoo, and Izanami. Alright, these guys have very powerful leader skills because they provide your element attribute with a 2.5 times multiplier. So the condition attached there is that you'll need to match, do a 5 match of whichever element. This is generally best paired up with Greek or with the Olympians. In terms of active skills, they all vary as well, so you'd have to look through them to compare and see how they are. Excuse me. Generally not so amazing as members because the active skills are really random, but as leaders, pretty good when you combo them up with Olympians. Okay, so next up we got our, in my opinion, best series ever, which is the Asgardians, and reason is all of them have a pretty solid leader skill, which gives their own attribute 2 times multiplier, and at the same time provide a elimination skill, which gives 2 times refined rune stones formed per match. Okay, so this is a pretty significant series, and in my opinion, if you have a crappy team which you cobble together, which some of my teams look pretty crappy too, if you pair it up with an Asgardian, it suddenly makes them real champions. So the standout would definitely have to be going to Frigg as well as Thor. I'm not a huge Nihility fan, but I guess Loki's okay, and the reason I mention them for honorable mention is because they provide multiplier boosts for across all 3 for their attributes, which is pretty rare at the moment. Okay, we have the Olympian guards up next, which are, to me, they're like the most overhyped series. At first, everyone was like, oh, you know, Olympians again, lots of combos, and it's great fun. And, you know, at first I was like, okay, this is pretty fun, you know, every time you swipe you get a sky drop. But after a while, the staying power doesn't seem to be quite there. I believe for Olympians, you really need to pair them up with Shinto guards to take advantage of the 2.5 times multiplier. And that will hopefully, you know, kind of make up for its lack of a multiplier. So if you guys aren't aware, Olympian guards will give you 1 attribute runestone falling, or they form in the preview, every 4 that you match, and it actually accumulates, which means that if you do dissolve 3 and 3, you'll get 1 additional one forming in the preview. So later on we'll probably see that. I'll run through the different few teams and let you examine how they are played for good fun, and yeah, you'll see what I mean over there. But essentially, your Olympians are leaders and leaders only. If as members, they're pretty bad as well. I mean, they give additional 4 rate, but it's 10%, and doesn't really factor in too much. Okay, next up we got Ancient Youkais, which is your Tamamo, your Shuten Doji, your Emperor Sutoku, your Yatagarasu, and your Yamata. Okay, now I'll be pretty straightforward in that this is a pretty crap series. The only 2 worth mentioning are your Tamamo for obvious reasons, refinement multiplier. However, her leader isn't quite as stacked up to be. It's not quite as strong as a 2 times multiplier, but it'll still get you there for creature teams. And of course, the Shuten Doji, which is the MVP for creature teams everywhere. Alright, a significant mention is that firstly, he's a great member as well as a leader. Reason being, he's got an converter skill, so he can fit into your fire teams all over the place. Second reason would be his eliminate skill helps you recover a shit ton of hit points. So he's an all-rounder. He's pretty good as leader and pretty good as a member. Okay, next up we got ninjas, who are similar. They have the same leader skill as Greeks, but they don't work as well as Greeks. Okay, reason being, when you use the elimination skill, it just makes stuff fall faster. It makes runestone fall and refining speed increase. However, it doesn't do the critical part of the Greeks, which is they drop an attribute of runestone straight away. For your ninjas, they will just, yeah, they won't do that. But the one worthy mention is that they're fantastic as leaders. If you train them up, they have a minimum CP of 8. They'll randomly turn 6 non-refined runestones into their own attribute. Now, it's a pretty powerful effect. I'd say it's like a game ender kind of active, you know, you use this and you expect to win. Because it's CP8, it's going to be hard to kind of spam it every few turns. And I don't see many stages where you can afford to kind of, you know, store up just to have it go off. But it is still pretty significant. If you get one of them, don't be too sad. They're great as members, giving you that converter ability. Okay. So next up we got Succubi, who are your Yuji, your Nohime, your Hatsumi, your Cleopatra, and Murasaki. Which is kind of weird because they all have Japanese names, except suddenly you got an Egyptian Cleopatra coming out of nowhere. Once again, pretty much a filler series. If you have nothing better to put, you can put these Succubi in. Worthy mention will be your Yuji, which can be fed to Eden, sorry, keep mispronouncing it, it's Eden. So if you have an Eden and you want to get her skill level up, pray you get lots of dupe Yuji so that you can feed them to her. So earlier when we were doing our Spellstone summons, I also got one as well, which you can feed to her too, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so next up we got Elder Dragons. For Elder Dragons, they're generally kind of bad because their leader skill is terrible and their eliminate skill is kind of bad as well. However, they have pretty rounded stats, pretty beefy hit points, which is still decent. And the worthy mention for me here goes out to two of them. Tiamat, firstly, who has got an active skill which converts water runes, minimum CP 5, which is fantastic and feedable. And the other one will be Hydra, who has actually saved my butt in a mono fire team quite a few times. For the other three, they're kind of marginal and not really usable most of the other time. Okay, we got to Hellborn Dragons next, which are Drax, Ryu, Ruka, Yinglong, and Immortalis. Now these guys are the dragons and probably the heroes in the game with the highest hit points. They go all the way up to maybe around 8,000, starting at about 6,000. So their leader skills are kind of meh as well. For Ryu and all the others, it's kind of like the lower the hit points, the higher team attack. And for some of the others, it's hit points and attack times 1.5 for dragons, which is like great. Lots of hit points, lacking a bit of punch. For active skills, also kind of all over the place and assorted. I would check them out yourselves if you need to compare them. Okay, next up we got Fallen Angels. So this is your Rahab, your Samael, your Sariel, your Azazel, and your Lucifer. Okay, now out of all these I've mentioned, the two worthy mentions will go to Rahab and Sariel. Okay, these guys will single-handedly bring your water and wind teams, respectively, into the next zone. If you can pair them up with a Norse, then Asgardian god as your leader, I think you're pretty set. With a 5 times multiplier and with those awesome elimination skills, I think things are going to be pretty hot. So later on you'll see me play through some of the stages with a Rahab Rin team. So of course, for those of you who aren't aware yet, Rin is like your budget Asgardian. If you guys picked her as a leader, I think you can be pretty happy that she will help you through many stages, especially if you pair them up with the Rahab. So those of you at Rahab, please train him up. The other reason Rahab is so strong is because he also has a converter ability and it can also be trained. Okay, you can feed those big mushrooms to them. Alright, and for Samael actually has a convertibility too, but I haven't got one and I haven't I wouldn't really use one as a ally either, so haven't had the chance to use that yet. Okay, we're almost at the end. Keith had a question. Yeah, later on we'll be looking at what kind of archetypes there are. If you're looking at specific matchups, I'm really not a huge fan of Nihility, so I wouldn't even kind of go there. But looking at Shinto gods, Nihility attack with attributed 5 times match, I mean, you kind of just have to match it up with your Hades. Okay, so next up we got Beastlords, who are all the funky little guys, not like little actually, they're all these funky weird guys you can get from your Spellstone summons. You can get Jake the Bull, Mona the Wolf, Simba the Lion, Mastodon the Elephant, and Megalodon the Shark. Now for all these, they're pretty crappy as leaders as well. They're meant to lead these awkward creature teams, but if you have a Shuten Doji or Tamamo, they will instantly replace these. Their active skills are generally all over the place as well. However, Neutral Burst is very useful because in the new maze, I think on the boss stage, he's got those 2 minions, right? And you want to get rid of those 2 water elements by using a Neutral Burst because it ignores defense and attribute relations. So that will help you get rid of them while you clear your way to victory. And for the rest, yeah, Simba also gets a worthy mention because he has a converter ability. So he's the one that will eat your large wind end mats. And for your Jake the Bull, he has a defense break, which is pretty useful too. So all in all, the Beastlords are pretty decent cards to get. So go draw your Spell Stone summons if you haven't done so yet. And finally, we have your farmable cards, your bi-weekly cards, the Beast Shamans, Kiri the Wolf Shaman, Yuffie the Bear Shaman, Ark the Snake Shaman, Lutz the Saber-Tooth Shaman, and Inca the Eagle Shaman. And it'll be followed up with Oguma the Grand Shaman, who is gonna be like the Hell stage. Wait for announcements on that, but it'll be some kind of maybe Soul Master or something. And out of this series, I'd have to say they're all kind of pretty crappy as well, except for Yuffie, because she gives her fire team a multiplier, and multipliers are very rare at the moment. So any cards you have which are multipliers should pretty much get an automatic slot into your team if you're playing harder, longer stages such as mazes. However, if you're playing shorter stages, such as the new, what's it called, Wheel of Fate Ocean, you'll still want cards with low CP, you know, trained up cards with low CP, such as converters and all that. Okay, so apologies for the first half an hour, a little bit dry because we're going through all the different series, but probably when I edit this video, I'll add in more helpful images on screen, which will be a little bit more informative. But for the time being, I'm limited by the resources I have here, as I'm one person, okay? But what we're going to do now is we're going to go through some pretty basic team forming. When I ran a poll, many of you chose the option of how to form a team, so... oh, I must reach level 80 to unlock the slot, okay. Let me reset some of these teams so that we can build them from scratch, and then you guys can see the thought process that goes into how to form these teams. Yeah, I mean, I probably don't need to reset all, but hey, why not? Okay, so we start from scratch. I'll share with you guys how to start off with your teams. So, of course, you have all built a team before, but how do we structure it properly? Now, the first thing you ought to do is, let's get this out of the way. If you have an Olympian god, you can start off with him, but pretty much the only team that you're going to be able to build is by allying the Shinto gods. So, as a book in the live stream has mentioned, Shinto pairs with Olympian. So let's sort by star. Let's pick my Hercules, for example. No matter what happens, I'm pretty much going to have to ally with a Shinto god. For members, I would recommend putting in your trained up cards, which have max CP, converter cards. Now remember I mentioned if you have any multiply cards, throw them in straight away. Unfortunately, I don't have any earth multipliers. So what I do have is a whole bunch of converters. So my Sasaki here is a fully trained one as well. CP4, randomly turn 3 attributed runestones into wind, which is pretty useful. As well as Simba, who's not fully trained up, but he'll get there one day. When I finally have enough coins to feed all these end mats to him. Okay, he's already at skill level 6, but from 6 to 12 it's gonna take a whole bunch of resources. But I'll slot him in as well. Now usually for my last member, I'll see if I need any utility for the team. If not, I will generally sort by attack and pick wind members only, and just see what kind of will give me the best bang for buck. I have another Simba. I think, yeah, the one I just drew. So over here we'll see that this Nidhogg has the best attack and provides a whole bunch of hit points. So I would be putting him in as my final member. Now when you start off new, it's pretty tempting just to go for everyone with the highest attack. But once you start training up for your cards, I think certain members are better than higher attack and more worth it to be putting in. So this will be my Earth team formed. You can see my Earth team is still pretty shoddy. Now, how I would rate the team, excuse me, how I would rate a team in terms of how well it will be able to attack hard stages. First of all, will be hit points. Hit points, you want to try stay above 15,000. Ideally, when allied up with your ally, you want to hit into the 20,000 range. From my experience playing a lot of the longer, more difficult stages, you want a really nice big hit points buffer. Now, of course, you could go full dragons and have like 45,000 hit points, but you're gonna kill stuff so slowly that stuff is probably gonna kill you before you get to kill them, which is not ideal. Generally speaking, your strategy is to kill before you get killed. For recovery here, you want to try hit about 2.5 and above is preferable. And this is also why your Daimyos are so really good. I mean, they're really underrated. So, I mean, if you have a base recovery of 3,000, right? If you ally up a Daimyo, you're gonna have 4.5 thousand, which means every time you dissolve a heart runestone, you're gonna get 4.5 thousand hit points recovered, which is pretty fantastic. But if you look at this team here, at only 1.2, I'm gonna need 10 heart runestone blocks just to recover back my hit points. So you can see this is a pretty big effort involved, and ultimately why you want to have around 2.5 to ideally 3,000. And your attack, you want to make sure you have about 15,000 above as well for this. When you're going into stages which are weak against your element, you will be able to have a much easier time going through. Okay, so this is an example of what kind of Olympian team would look like. Pretty basic, shove in a bunch of multipliers. In fact, for most teams, just shove in all the multipliers which you have once you're trained. Okay, so I'm gonna build a fire team here. Okay, so now that Olympian guards out of the way, for those of you who have any other card which is a 2 times multiplier or 2.5 times, okay, the 2.5 times is either gonna be your Shinto guards, in which case you just follow what you did in the first team, build your team and ally up with Olympian. Because it's pretty hard hitting the 5 match with other team archetypes. You need to be really, like, pretty decent at swiping, and assuming everyone's kind of like me, like, very average, okay, very average level, probably manage less than 10 combos a turn, you want to make sure you ally up with a Olympian guard to make sure you get the 2.5 and go from there. Okay, so if you are not into the Olympian or Shinto guards, you have very kind of anything else which is a 2 times multiplier, you will then go for a Norse archetype pretty much. At the moment, I'll go through the others, but at the moment you're pretty much gonna go Norse allied with another 2 times multiplier, or a Norse allied, or your leader which is 2 times multiplier allied with an Asgardian. Okay, so you kind of getting my point, right? Either way, you're gonna need an Asgardian somewhere around if you're just packing a 2 times multiplier. So in this case, I have an Eden. You can see Eden. Pretty as she is, okay, with a multiplier attack of 2 times. I'm gonna start off with her. I'll then throw in my multiplier cards, which is my Yuffie. Don't have any other cards which give multipliers, so I'm gonna throw in my 2 Shuten Dojis. Okay, and then for the final slot, I have Hydra who's trained up. This is kind of like a heal. So at the moment, if you guys have nothing better to put in, you can put in a heal card, because at the moment, recovery sometimes is hard to come by. For me, this is like a 18th turn heal. Okay, you'll hit the enemy and give me some hit points back. But of course, if for example I'm playing into the Maze of Illusions, I will be bringing Mona the Wolf, who will give this very useful neutral burst, which will help me get rid of the final stage's minions. 5 stage is probably the worst to tackle that stage with, but in any case, this is what a fully formed up fire team will look like. Because you can see, the reason why this team easily gets an S is because not only does the hit points fairly high, the attack is sky high. I mean, look at that, this is with 5 cards, so after the ally, you can easily go up to like 28,000. So, yep, that will be a fire archetype, which you can look at. Now for my water archetype, I don't have any Norse, and if you guys don't have any Asgardians, I would really recommend to go and pick up some time stones, okay? Because this week, for purchasing 6, you'll be able to guarantee yourself an Asgardian. I've already done that, but I haven't drawn it out. I saved it for the live stream today to see what I get. And yeah, hopefully I get anyone except for Eden. Okay, so here's my water team. Now, you can see my water team, I actually have 2 options as leaders. I have my Daimyo here, Toyotomi, who has the water attack times 2. I also have my Rin, who, as I mentioned earlier, is like your budget Asgardian, because she has the really OP refinement multiplier. Arguably, she's actually better than Frigg. If I got a Frigg, I'd still put her in the team, but I wouldn't put her as leader. Reason being, Frigg's skill can't be trained up, whereas Rin here has a skill fully trained up, and that also means that any of the bronze, silver, or gold rune stones which I swipe her way to the left will give me additional 1 second elimination time. So you know when your runes are kind of dropping, and the refined runes kind of drop by themselves, bronze becomes silver, silver becomes gold. Yeah, she gets an additional second for each time that you swipe, which is really awesome. So, in many senses, Rin is actually better than Frigg, but as mentioned, Frigg is still strong because she has her 1.5 times multiplier. So I'm gonna build a team around Rin here, a 2 times multiplier, and I'm gonna fill it as mentioned with my converters here. My Toyotomi is fully trained up, so he's at CP5. My Tiamat here isn't trained up, so it's still a long way to go. I've got a trained up Kiri here, and as mentioned, recovery, any skills that recover hit points are still pretty decent. So you can sort it in, and then we'll just kind of go for the highest attack left over for the last card. So as you can see here, the total attack isn't that high yet, but I'll show you this team, and its explosive power is pretty good due to the elimination skill, and when you ally up with the Rehab, it's pretty awesome. Okay, we're gonna go through one last example here. Let's go for our Earth team, which is not Olympian. So let's go for a Sasaki lead, because Sasaki at least has a 2 times multiplier leader skill. So we're gonna choose him as leader. Once again, we're gonna go for our trained up active skills first. So it's our ninja here. Sasaki's already in. Okay, we're gonna throw in a Simba, even though he's not fully trained, and probably the last 2 we'll just flesh it out by going for a Nidok there. Ark, who I'm not a huge fan of, but she has the higher attack, so we'll go for her. And that's just kind of how you flesh out your team at the moment. There isn't really a whole much else you can do, and as you can see, even my options are pretty limited. I don't have that many multiply cards which I can just slot in. Alright, so yeah, unless you guys have questions, I'm just gonna go into some gameplay and show off some of these teams, I guess, which you'll see how they operate. So firstly, let's tackle the weekly stage, the bi-weekly. I'm gonna use what I usually use to farm this, which is my fire team, because my wind team is pretty terrible at the moment. So as mentioned, with Norse, you can ally it up with any of the 2 times leaders, such as so. Okay, sorry, before we go on, there's one final archetype which I need to mention. It's definitely quite strong at the moment as well. Which is your Shuten Doji creature-led team. Okay, so you pick him as a team leader, you just select creature, and then for me, it's pretty much just slot in whatever creature with the highest attack you have. Of course, if you can make it fire heavy, that's good, but you'll need to see, it depends on what stage you're on. So my current creature team was looking something like so. Yeah. Something like this. I think I had something instead of Kiri. Maybe my converter ninja guy. Yeah, I think I had that. And I was trying to use this to beat, Maze of, not Illusion. Maze of Ocean. Yes, the one in the middle. Okay, so we're gonna quickly play through the bi-weekly. It's generally not recommended to go for dual Norse, but for simplicity's sake, I'll do that. As mentioned, you can pick any of the leaders which have a 2 times multiplier, and Norse also has a 2 times multiplier, so that's okay. We can just kind of pick her. Okay. So there you go, a 4 times multiplier in total, as well as the really OP skill, which is 2 refined runestones formed per match. Okay, I don't have enough stamina, that's fine. Let's go in. Hey everyone who just joined in, thanks for tuning in. I spent the first like 40 minutes rambling off about different team series as well as how to form your teams up. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll be doing some post-processing rendering to hopefully make it more understandable in a bit. Okay, so my Eden has a better elimination skill due to the fact that she's trained up already, so I'm gonna be swiping left for this one. Okay, as you can see, so long your for me, when I play mono attributes, I focus a lot on making sure I dissolve enough sets to attack. Sometimes you combo like crazy, you get 15, 16 combos, but because you only dissolve a single set, the damage is pretty poo. So, for me, my priority is, yes, making combos, but in this instance, for example, I'm just gonna go crazy with swiping these away, and really mining for my my attribute attack runes before I go for high combo and chain. In the meantime, it's always good to keep your combo and chain alive, but as mentioned, you know, try to hold back. Sometimes there's a straggler fire rune and you just gotta keep him, because if you don't keep that fire rune and then the other two come along and they can't find the third one, then it's just kind of a train wreck from there and it just, you know, doesn't work out well. So focus on getting enough sets of your attributed rune dissolved, and you'll see that the damage will be pretty solid coming out of there. Okay, I've already dissolved I think 2 or 3 sets, so I can go ahead and get rid of these other ones, dissolve these other ones. Okay, so as you can see, with the 4 times leader ally skill, and I mean this team is fully trained up, so it probably makes it a whole lot easier. But even without the elemental advantage, you can see that a team with such high attack, I think this team has about 28k attack. Hit points are great as well, and with this kind of team, most stages should be a breeze. If you're scared of going into fever mode, because whenever you're using this leader skill, it's very easy to generate a crap ton of refined runestones quickly. If you don't want to go into fever mode, make sure you swipe away a diamond every now and then. You know, when your build up starts getting too high, and you may as well use it since it helps increase your overall chain and combo, as well as you know, getting yourself a higher rank for the stage. Makes no difference here, so do this. Okay, then we're through to the boss stage after this. Hey Aaron, thanks for joining. Finally get to do some gameplay. Earlier I was just rambling on about all the different teams. But yep, we'll come to that in a while. So you can see CP5 is really powerful, because if you're rushing for S rank and you want minimum number of rounds, you want to make sure you have these converters which are trained up. As I mentioned, I think the best will be the Ninja series, because they give CP4 at maximum and they convert at random. So if you don't have the target, for example, Shudendoji needs water runestones, luckily I have quite a few, but if they don't have a target, you can't use them at all. Whereas if you have ninjas, or if you have the samurais, they will be really, really powerful. Because they don't need that. Okay, I need to focus on building up my chain because this guy needs chain to attack. I think I broke my chain somewhere there. Okay, we just managed with an HA. Okay, so playing this purely for your reference so that you can see how even a very kind of modest 4 times multiplier team will be good enough to get you through the average bi-weekly stages here. This is my best, most trained up team, so that's the reason I'm using it. But later on I'll show you what kind of like a half-baked team can do as well. Okay, and that should be easily an S. Okay, so you see the majority of your points will be going to your number of rounds used here, followed by probably your battle time, which is the amount of time you spend swiping. I think the longer it is, the more points you get. Followed by average maximum chain, average maximum combo. Max damage is the smallest factor, so don't worry too much about the burst. That is pretty much quite secondary. I'm gonna quickly check if Facebook is once again alive on my phone, and yes it is, which I'm gonna kill off because I was feeling some lag there. Okay, we're back. Alright, so that's pretty much how your average kind of team goes. I'm not gonna play... oh. Whoa, here let's take a quick intermission. I'm so dying to see what Asgardian I got. Okay, so as mentioned, this week there's an event, there's a purchase reward. If you haven't done so yet, go and pick up yourself 6 time stones. I mean, it's really not a lot. You can't even get a meal nowadays for that amount. Maybe if you're in Singapore. Okay, you can probably get like a Big Mac. So, Big Mac or Asgardian. For me, I'll pick Asgardian any day. Pick up yourself 6 time stones and you'll get yourself a guaranteed Asgardian. So let's see which one we get here. Oh my god, this is so stressful. Please give me is it gonna be the water? Is it gonna be Frigg? I think I saw blue. Yes, it's Frigg. Okay, so I already have Rin, as I mentioned, but Frigg is still awesome because she has a multiplier. Yeah, which I fully intend to put her into the team after I train her up a bit, that is. So as an example, if you look at my water team here, I can probably get rid of Yuji here since I don't really need the recovery times 1.5. I probably don't even need the direct curing because Rin already has a pretty awesome healing skill. She will recover hit points by about 10,200, around there. So I can probably get rid of my Kiri and slot in the Frigg, which will help a lot with the net damage. Okay. So if you haven't done so yet, go and pick up 6 time stones to get your guaranteed Asgardian. I think it's really worth it. It's a really good deal. It's really the most OP series at the moment. Definitely the best series in my book. And yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna go for this stage here. I'm gonna find one who has a max CP. I think Aaron had one, but I can't seem to find him anymore. Oh, there he is. Okay, he just popped up, just relogged in. Okay, so this is one of the really strong archetypes. If you're a water user or if you are a wind user, you can rejoice because Rehab and Sariel have a really good 2.5 times multiplier, which are easy to use, which means you can use them with your 2 times leaders, and preferably you can use them with your Asgardian leaders, okay? Because the combination of getting a lot of refined rune stones combined with a higher, easy to hit multiplier makes short work of many enemies. Okay, so let's enter. Maze of Shadow now. Man, I'm so sick of Maze of Shadow. I already played it so many times. Okay. So So we're gonna play through this quickly. I'll just show you. To me, this team is still pretty half-baked. I mean, I've got 2 cards here, Kiri and Yuji, who are completely untrained. They're level 1 each. My Tiamat isn't max level. My Rin is close to max level. I mean, for these 2 cards, they're level 90 plus. This guy isn't even fully trained up for his CP. The only fully trained card is Toyotomi. Okay, I mean, you can count Rin. This is max CP. But I'll show you kind of what this half-baked water team can do. Hey Mother, are the seas actually created by Father himself? Yes, and your father did rule over the seas, but he relinquished the sovereign power for us. Okay. This is where your swiping left skills have got to be pretty good. As I mentioned, I use my left hand to swipe to the left. If you guys have figured out another way with your right hand, good on you. Continue to do that because it's going to be... start off with a mistake. It's going to be a pretty important skill to pick up. Dissolve 2 sets of water. I need a 3rd set coming in soon. There we go. Set number 3. Okay, that was just like a kind of poorly swiped and all that, and you can see the damage really just comes through. Okay, so for those of you who are spamming the stage, hopefully that's everyone watching this, definitely spam it because here you get a guaranteed large water element which will help you train up your water team. Now my recommendation here is to stall for 2 turns. You'll need to do an attack for one of the turns. Okay, so I'm launching an attack now, and then I'll proceed to stall for 1 turn before I continue hitting him. Okay, this turn I'm not going to attack him, so I'm going to focus on getting rid of my water runes so that I don't accidentally launch an attack. Reason being, he's got that debuff on us, and we want to make sure that we get rid of it before we proceed. Not advisable to grind on this stage long term because he does have an attack of I think last check was 11,000. I don't know if after the nerf it's better. No, still 11,000, and you do not want to stall on him basically. Okay, so let's launch an attack this turn. Okay, we're on to round 3 after this. So there you go, guaranteed drop for large water and mat, which is good. Okay, so we need to remember for Red Hat, we need to dissolve 3 sets of water, so we're gonna focus and concentrate on doing that now. 2 sets. 3 sets. 4 sets. 5 sets. I mean, I don't need to count anymore, I'm just counting for fun now. Oh, crap. Okay, there you go. 5 sets will net you quite a bit of damage. As you can see there, the attacks go out and they are painful. Remember, I'm using like a half-baked water team here. There are 2 fully untrained members here. Okay, Mita says, why is it necessary? I cannot understand the relationship between the 2. Tethys says, that is a decree he abode by to protect the seas. A decree? Do you know why I'm showing you this memory of mine? Show me what you're capable of, and I shall tell you the reason behind. Kinda rhymes. Don't know if that was intentional or not. So, Yagyu here has a pretty high defense, which you need to pierce through. Remember not to leave any water runestones behind. So, should we use a converter here? Nah, we can wing it. I mean, by all means, if you want to use a converter there, then use it. But for me, I'm okay not using it. 2 sets of water. 3 sets of water. Okay, we've hit our requirements, so we're gonna go ahead and combo the shit out of this. Okay, 22, the chain of 17. And look at that multiply out of nowhere with no active skills, no boosts to use. You can just get yourself a 211 times, which is not going to be an issue at all defeating the stage. And I'm not even using a Thunder team. I mean, of course, Thunder will be the best team to use against the stage, but I don't have a trained up Thunder team, right? So if you're using Wind or Water, as I mentioned earlier, it's time to rejoice, because Sariel and Rahab will combo up really well with your Asgardians or even your 2 times multiplier leaders and help you produce this effect. Now, irritatingly, Miss Fat Thighs here, Izanami. Okay, I'm sorry to all you Izanami fans out there, but look at that, she really does have fat thighs. Anyway, for this stage, she's locked away our left side elimination skill, which means you can't use Rin anymore, and that means you're gonna have to swipe to the right, which is not huge, but it's kind of annoying. I'm gonna use a converter here. Just gonna go for an AoE attack. Okay, 1 set of water, 2 set, 3 set. So hit our 3 set requirement. We can focus on comboing now. There's a 4th set there, 5th set, 6th set. I don't even know what I'm counting anymore. Okay, 114 times. May leave none alive. Okay, so both of them are gonna get taken away, blown away by this. Yeah, the stage got nerfed. Previously, Yagyu had a really high attack. I think she had a 6-point-something K attack, and she actually had a big amount of hit points, like maybe 20,000, so it wasn't good enough just to pierce her defense. You had to pierce her defense by more than 20,000 to get through. Okay, so Deity the Moon, Tsukuyomi here, deactivates 2 of our... Who did she reset? Who did she go after? Okay, she went after Rehab, so we won't have his really good conversion skill later, and she went after Rin, annoying me, so we don't have a heal, but we still have Kiri, who can help give us some recovery should we need it later. Okay. 1, 2, 3 sets of water. We're in business. Let's continue and finish comboing it off. Okay, 7025, we're not in danger at all, so let's continue on. 2 sets. Still on 2 sets. Gonna use my diamond runestone here. Okay, 3 sets, there we go. Four sets. Okay, and the base recovery for this team is pretty high, which is why you can see that even with a few hard runestones, you can get back a lot of hit points. Stage 7 is more or less a giveaway. You can store here if you want. You can probably target the Dark Bat here, and then take your time on the Aqua Goblin. But from us, we won't need to do that. We can just kind of go full steam ahead and combo the crap out of the stage. Bit of play error there. That's fine. These guys are weak. Okay, so as you can see there, got rid of the Dark Bat first. Okay, we've got enough to find runestones for next round. Okay, and before you know, we're on the boss stage. So the boss here will, Tempest will reduce damage by 10% per water runestone to the max of 100. So make sure you leave no water runestones behind. Now we're gonna use our converter skills. Yeah, look at the nice tower of water runestones. Okay, but remember we still need to dissolve 3 sets to get things happening. There's our second set. There's our third set. Oh, needed to get rid of that last one, but that's fine. She only has 10% damage reduction against us, which will leave her on a little bit of hit points left. Okay, we can use the heal here just to be safe-ish. And now we need to make sure we combo and get ourselves out of this sticky situation. One set, 2 sets. Okay, so you see here, the drawback of Rahab is sometimes if you don't have enough refined runestones, you can't build up your timer long enough to get a really good multiply going. But luckily, we still managed to recover lots of hit points. Rin as a full heal there will keep you safe too. 1 set. 2 sets. Okay, we hit our 3 sets. Okay, we hit our 3 sets this time, thanks to some diamond runestones, and a cool 237 times multiplier should be good enough to take it away. Alright, and Tethys drops as well. Now I can understand why my husband speaks highly of you. Then why did you test my ability? Did I not deserve the recognition from Almighty Oceanus? I had to see it for myself, Rune Master, but now you have earned my recognition. My husband gave up his power not only for me, but for the seas. It is to prove his love for the Blue Waters. As his wife, I want to protect the seas for him. If you are to save the space-time, believe you can save the seas as well. This is all I ask of you. Yay! We did it! Okay, so the whole point of today's live stream is really just to go through a bit more review on the different series available, who forms good leaders, who forms good team members, as well as how to form up your teams, because I realized that a lot of people still are a bit stuck on the team formation. As a quick recap, really simply, you're going to go either Shinto guards and Olympians, or you're going to go into a 2 times leader or ally multiplier paired with an Asgardian. And if you haven't done so already, do really seriously consider picking up 6 time stones. It's like a Big Mac meal out there, and you get yourself a guaranteed Asgardian, okay? So that's pretty much it from me this time. I don't have much else to share with you guys unless you have any questions in the next 2 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty much nothing else for this time. Next time, because today I didn't really want to go too much into it, next time we'll probably try play Maze of Illusion. It's a pretty tough stage compared to Maze of Shadows. I haven't cleared it yet. I got to stage 21 and I died because of the minions. What I'll be doing is I'll probably be using my fire team again. I'll be training up my Mona. So here is my fire team. As you can see, the stats are pretty juicy. I'll most likely be replacing the Hydra with a Mona, but I'll need to train him up. So once I've done that, it will mean that I have a Defense Breaker active Snipe card, which will allow me to get rid of those 2 irritating minions on the boss stage. So if you have a card which has neutral burst, it should be useful in that sense. Potential next team other than Eden, okay, as you can see, my Eden team is pretty well matured, pretty rounded out, and you can see it's pretty awesome. Every time I look at the team, I just think, at least I have one team which doesn't suck. And then I look at the stages and they're like, oh wow, it sucks having a fire team right now. Okay, because, I mean, what have we got? We got Maze of Shadows, Maze of Illusion, which are really stacked against Fire Team. I mean, they're not easy to play Fire Team against these stages. And then you get a Maze of Ocean, and it's a Wheel of Ocean or whatever. And then it's like, oh my god, are you guys for real? Yeah, Fire Team, not easy at the moment. But, you know, everything will come full cycle. There'll be a point where probably Water Team is the worst one to have, based on the stages that are currently out. So for my next team, I'll be fully dedicating to Water. As you can see, I'm kind of like halfway there with the Water Team. I just drew Freya, so Freya will probably come in and replace... Oh, there she is. Freya will probably come in and replace Yuji there. I still find the healing skill is, I mean, it shouldn't be necessary, but I just find the healing skill is awesome for some reason. But you know, because it's a direct heal rather than a recovery boost. Recovery boost, you still need to generate your hard rune stones to get going. So I think this is the next team I'll work on to really get things going. I think on the Fire and a Water team, I'll be able to tackle the Wind and the Thunders as well. After that, I will really need to heavily invest into my Earth team. Wind. Forget I said that just now. Really heavily invest into my Wind team. Not such a huge fan of the Olympians. Okay, so I'll show you guys how the Olympians look like when you play them. Before we wrap up for sure. Since none of you have many burning questions, I'll ally it up with a Cereal. No, not a Cereal, a Shinto god. Who I think I don't have. Ah, there we go. Yep, I'll try it with this, but you can see the team stats are pretty bad. So I may not be able to survive through here, but we'll give it a good try, shall we? So this is the Olympian Shinto God archetype. At least all my converters are trained. Yeah, definitely want to get rid of this guy. No first wind stop set. Okay, as you can see, the multiplier is nothing to write home about, and I'm stuck with no wind runes at all. Well, now, here we go. Just got them all coming through. Okay, there we go. The multiplier has kicked in. So I mean the first few rounds will be pretty slow, but if you can build up your refined rune blocks, it'll work out nicely. Okay, you can see in the preview I'm generating a lot of wind rune stones, and that's because of the fact that I'm dissolving a lot of them. The more you dissolve, the more that will appear in the preview. Now, some people might struggle to play Olympians at first because the rhythm is kind of a bit weird. You kind of have to keep spamming your refined rune stones. At the same time, stuff keeps dropping. So it's important to make sure that you don't get too big a clump going. Because whenever you get really big clumps, it actually messes up your dropping rhythm, and that will in turn reduce the number of sky drops, number of combos you can form eventually. And you kind of have to look out for the odd colors. So you see there are 2 fires, so I kind of let the last fire drop down without swiping it away. And that's just kind of the thing you gotta do to keep the Olympian play style alive. I still like Olympian paired up with Asgardians, but you know, I just have a soft spot for Asgardians, so yay, go Asgardians. Crap. It's totally a miss-swipe there. Got rid of the wrong runestone. Okay, and now I have a converter skill. Should I use it? I have nothing else that's coming online anytime soon. Okay, let's not use it because we could be in trouble. Okay, luckily we have quite a bit of advantage due to the attribute advantage, so we're still doing quite okay with the stage. May not be able to score an S, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, we're at Lutz here. In combo, 14 chain, still get a nice fat multiply going, and we can still take him away, but whether or not we get an S, I'm really not sure. Should be able to, because the chain combos are kind of weak compared to the dual eater, don't you think? So as you can see, when you have an Asgardian or any leader which gives the refinement multiplier elimination skill, every time you match up something, it will produce double the effect for refined runestones. It's really powerful because it means that you get a lot more swipe time, your chain increases as a result, and see, didn't manage an S, missed it by 1.3. So you can see that fully trained up team is still better equipped to handle these stages if you're going for ranks. So yeah, my advice is really fully invest into a team, probably not fire right now because it's so hard to beat the current stages with fire. It's like I can barely do it. So save yourself the hassle. I would go for probably water or thunder right now. Water or wind actually, I think these two would be pretty good investments. And followed by fire if you're feeling bored like me. You go for fire, or if your cards happen just to be all fire. And yeah, so hopefully that's helped you guys figure out what you're gonna do with your teams, the current archetypes available, and how you're gonna build them. If you have more questions, you can always drop by my page, you know, drop a like while you're there, and post any questions you have. And you can generally find me around the Chronos Gate official fan group, you know, posting stuff. So that's pretty much the live stream for tonight. Thanks everyone for watching. Do remember to help like and share this. I'll be rendering this and uploading it to YouTube with probably more helpful format for the earlier review series. But otherwise, yeah everyone, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!